My dear friends, we've gathered together once again. Now settle into your favorite chair and get comfortable, because today I have something special to share with you all. As I prepared this content, I kept thinking about valued viewers like you. Your likes and comments inspired me to give it my very best. I know time is precious. That's why I want to make these minutes truly worthwhile for you. If today's video brings even a small smile to your face or brightens your day just a little, that would make me so happy. Now join me on this journey. But remember, your support is what keeps this channel going. Your likes, comments, and especially your subscriptions give me the strength to continue. Shall we begin? I'm certain this special content I've prepared for you today will bring some wonderful surprises. It was a foggy London morning. Gray skies, stiff collars, and an unusually high concentration of tea. But none of that mattered, because Logan Paul had arrived. Decked out in a blinding neon hoodie, silver aviators, and a smug grin so powerful it could fry a crumpet at 10 paces, Logan stood outside Buckingham Palace holding his GoPro like it was Excalibur for the digitally desperate. "All right, guys," he said, spinning to camera with influencer precision. "Today's the day. I'm gonna make a royal guard laugh. Like, out loud. Like giggle snort laugh. And if I get arrested, guess what? That's even better content." Next to him, a giant cardboard box labeled Operation Guard Cracker 3000. Underneath, in bright red Sharpie, "Laugh guaranteed or your dignity back." He cracked his knuckles. "Let's make history." From the box, Logan pulled a rubber chicken duct-taped to a Bluetooth speaker, an inflatable sumo suit, a kazoo shaped like a banana, and a remote-controlled pigeon wearing a tiny monocle. Tourists were already circling, phones out, whispering things like, "Is that Jake Paul?" and "Wait, is this allowed?" Logan puffed out his chest, slapped on the sumo suit, and waddled confidently toward the nearest guard, Sergeant Barrett, a 6-foot stone-faced monument of British resolve. The guard didn't flinch. Not even a nostril twitch. "All right, Sarge," Logan said, holding the banana kazoo like a mic. "You ever heard Despacito in kazoo form? 'Cause you're about to." He honked out a wheezy, tragic rendition of the song while moonwalking in slow motion. The guard blinked. Once. Okay, maybe that was a warm-up. He activated the rubber chicken speaker. It blared Baby Shark at full volume. Still nothing. He launched the RC pigeon. It spiraled dramatically, landed on the guard's hat, and exploded in glitter. A little girl in the crowd screamed in delight. The guard remained still, as if the pigeon had never existed. Logan turned to the crowd. "Guys, I think he's dead inside. Like me after reading YouTube comments." The crowd chuckled. Logan wasn't done. He dropped to one knee, looked the guard square in the face. "I respect you," he whispered, "but I have to do this." Then he reached slowly into his backpack and pulled out a life-sized cutout of the Queen doing the floss dance. Even some of the tourists gasped. The guard's lips tensed. Not a smile, but a microscopic muscle movement. Logan's eyes lit up. "I saw that. You saw that." Suddenly, clang, the guard took one step forward. The crowd gasped. Logan raised his hands. Whoa, easy bro. I come in peace. Well, mostly for clicks." The guard raised his hand and adjusted his hat. Logan nearly fainted. "That's it. I win." He moved. "It's over. I broke Britain." The tourists applauded. A toddler dabbed. But just then, another guard appeared. This one had a clipboard and a scowl. "Sir," he said, with the menace of a man raised solely on vinegar and disappointment, "you violated Royal Protocol subsection 8. No inflatable sumo wrestling near the gates." Logan blinked. Is that a real thing?" "It's real now." Suddenly, a third guard stepped forward, pulled a biscuit from his coat, snapped it in half with dramatic flair, Then, launched it like a ninja star. Smack. Direct hit. Right on Logan's forehead. He collapsed in slow motion. Tell my subscribers. I did it for the likes. Logan Paul lay dramatically on the cobblestones outside Buckingham Palace, one hand on his forehead, the other still gripping the glitter-covered remains of his inflatable pigeon controller. His camera, now mounted on a tourist selfie stick, was still rolling. "This is it, guys," he whispered. "This is where it ends. Death by biscuit. Tell my merch line, it dies with me." A small boy in the crowd gasped. "Mom, is he okay?" "No, darling," his mother replied. "He's American." Just then, Logan opened one eye. The biscuit had left a surprisingly accurate imprint of the Queen's profile on his forehead. He sat up, dazed, looked around, and noticed the second guard approaching with the clipboard again. "Sir," the guard repeated sternly, "you are in breach of no fewer than 7 royal bylaws, including but not limited to weaponized poultry, unauthorized kazooing, and emotional manipulation of ceremonial personnel." Logan stood, brushed glitter off his hoodie, and squinted. "Wait a second. Are you making these up as you go?" The guard didn't blink. "I assure you, subsection 12b explicitly prohibits making a royal guard, and I quote, even remotely vibey." Logan's face twisted into a grin. "You said vibey. That counts as a reaction." Suddenly, a fourth guard emerged. This one wore aviators, a sash labeled Commander of Ceremony, and had a clipboard made of what appeared to be mahogany. The commander raised a hand. "This is now a Level 5 disruption. Activate Protocol Foggy Biscuit." Before Logan could ask, a hidden panel opened in the gravel. Rising slowly, like Excalibur from the mist, was a ceremonial tea cannon. "What the hell is that?" Logan shouted, stepping back. "Non-lethal, but deeply disrespectful," the commander replied. "We find the shame lingers longer than bruises." The tea cannon fired. A steaming splash of Earl Grey mist shot straight past Logan's shoulder and singed the air. "Oh, we're doing this now!" Logan screamed, ducking behind a mounted tourist information sign. The guards formed up. Marching band music, remixed with dubstep, began playing from hidden speakers. Tourists scattered like pigeons during a fire drill. And that was when Logan realized. He wasn't just being thrown out. He was being ceremonially exorcised from British soil. Cue montage. Logan Paul, running in slow motion across the lawn, a guard firing crumpets behind him like grenades. A corgi, yes, an actual royal corgi, chasing him, wearing a tactical vest labeled Bark OPS. Logan diving headfirst into a moat, which didn't exist before, but apparently appeared out of sheer Britishness. As he surfaced, soaking wet, Logan yelled, "I only wanted a VLG." From the balcony, a butler appeared again, now holding a scroll. "Logan Paul," he bellowed, unrolling the parchment. "By order of Her Majesty's post-haste protocol, you are hereby banished from ceremonial zones within the United Kingdom until you can name at least 3 types of jam." 3 types of jam? Logan yelled. "Correct." He blinked. Strawberry, blueberry. Grape?" The guard shook his head. "That's an American jelly. You disgust us." Suddenly, the corgi barked in Morse code. One of the guards interpreted. "He requests marmalade." The crowd gasped. Logan gasped harder. "Marmalade? Like Paddington?" He turned solemn. "Okay. Let's settle this the old-fashioned way." A hush fell. He reached into his sumo suit pocket and pulled out scone 1-on-1. Me versus the commander. Scone duel. The commander stepped forward, removed his gloves. "You dare challenge British heritage in our own courtyard?" "I do," Logan said, striking a pose. They circled each other. Tourists held their breath. A bobby started placing bets. Then, slap Logan struck first. The scone hit the commander square in the chest. Crumbs flew. The commander staggered, then stood tall. My turn. He dipped a biscuit in clotted cream and hurled it with Olympic precision. Thwack. Right on Logan's neon hoodie. New. This is merch. Chaos erupted. The tea cannon misfired, launching Earl Grey onto a group of influencers. The corgi tackled a TikToker. And somewhere in the chaos, the Queen herself peeked through the curtains, sighed, and muttered, "Again? Want me to continue with?" Buckingham Palace had seen many things over the centuries. Coronations, royal weddings, even a pigeon once knighted by accident. But it had never seen a YouTuber escorted inside under charges of ceremonial disruption while holding a rubber chicken like a baby duckling. Logan Paul was flanked by 6 royal guards, 2 corgis, and 1 overly anxious cameraman, Jet, who was now live-streaming the entire ordeal to an audience of 98,000 viewers and 1 confused guy in Nebraska named Dave who thought this was an episode of Downton Abbey. "Can I at least vlog this?" Logan asked, still holding Cluckles in one hand and rubbing the faint imprint of a rubber trout from his cheek with the other. "No," Nigel snapped, "but your trial will be broadcast on the palace's official TikTok. We're very modern now." Logan paused. "The Queen has TikTok? She duets with Paddington. It's adorable." The group was led through massive oak doors into a hallway that smelled like lavender, history, and the kind of tea that costs more than rent in Los Angeles. Tapestries of serious-looking ancestors stared down at Logan like they were disappointed from beyond the grave. Then, the throne room. Grand. Ornate. Overwhelmingly British. In the center sat a massive golden throne flanked by velvet drapes and a painting of Winston Churchill holding a pastry like it was a grenade. But no monarch. Instead, there sat a long wooden table with 4 very official-looking people. 1. Sir Paddington Crumblesworth, Earl of Scone. 2. Dame Edna Featherlip, Royal Etiquette Enforcer. 3. Chancellor Broderick of Custardshire. 4. Kevin, the palace intern who brought snacks. At the head of the table, the Queen's butler, still wearing double monocles, sipping something that suspiciously looked like Red Bull from a china teacup. "Bring forth the accused," he bellowed in a tone normally reserved for announcing sword fights or bake sales gone wrong. Logan was shoved gently forward. He grinned nervously. "Sup?" "Logan Paul," said Sir Paddington, voice echoing, "you stand accused of attempting to destabilize centuries of ceremonial discipline, using poultry-based provocation." Dame Edna added, "and for daring to tickle the silence of the royal guard with a squawk of chaos." Chancellor Broderick muttered, "He dishonored the sacred gravel with backflips." Kevin just passed around digestive biscuits. The butler stood. "You may defend yourself." Logan cleared his throat. "Look, I wasn't trying to, bring down your monarchy. I was just trying to see if your guards were real. Real. Sir Paddington narrowed his eyes. "You made a royal guard blink. By accident." Logan protested. "Blame the chicken." Cluckles squeaked in response. Dame Edna gasped. "Is that contempt?" "No, that's a rubber squeak," Logan muttered. Chancellor Broderick slammed a gavel shaped like a crumpet. "Enough. By royal decree, you shall face the ancient and noble trial of the Marmalade Gauntlet." Logan blinked. "Is that like a British death match?" "Worse," Edna said. "It's breakfast-themed." Within seconds, palace staff wheeled out what looked like a Victorian obstacle course built inside a brunch buffet. There were scones, jams, teapots, a moat filled with Earl Grey, and in the center, a marmalade wrestling pit. Logan stared. "I have so many questions." The butler announced, "To earn redemption, you must pass through 3 stages of the marmalade trial." Jet, still filming, whispered, "Logan man, this might be your biggest content yet." Logan nodded. "Let's do this." Stage 1. The Scone Standoff. Logan was handed a silver tray stacked with stale scones, the kind that break teeth, friendships, and hope. At the far end of the room stood a beefeater, holding a Union Jack shield and a teaspoon like a jousting lance. "Make it past him," the butler said, "without dropping your tray." "Is this legal?" Logan asked. Barely, said Kevin. The beefeater charged. Logan ducked, rolled, dodged a flying biscuit, and somehow cartwheeled past the man without losing a single scone. Sir Paddington stood and clapped slowly. Impressive, he said, emotionless. Stage 2, Edna declared. Stage 2, the Queen's tea toss. In this round, Logan had to balance a teacup full of boiling hot Earl Grey on his head while reciting British slang without laughing. A bell rang. Blimey, Logan shouted. Cheeky Nando's. Bob's your uncle. Gobsmacked. Chuffed. And bollocks. Everyone gasped. Dame Edna fainted. Kevin whispered. He said the word. The butler cleared his throat. We shall allow it. Logan sighed in relief. Stage 3, announced Chancellor Broderick, is the final test. Stage 3, Marmalade Combat. A marmalade pit. Waist deep. Sticky. Fragrant. Probably older than Logan's career. In the center stood a mystery opponent, wearing a bearskin hat and red coat. Jet zoomed in. It's the guard. The one you made blink. The guard stepped forward and, without a word, body slammed Logan into the marmalade. Logan resurfaced, sputtering. Oh, it's on. They wrestled, slipped, screamed. At one point, Cluckles fell in and had to be rescued via ceremonial tongs. Eventually, both Logan and the guard collapsed into the marmalade, exhausted and sticky. The butler stood. Verdict. He has proven himself. Sir Paddington nodded. The Paul has been redeemed. Kevin offered Logan a wet nap and a digestive biscuit. Logan sat up, covered in marmalade, and saluted the guard. The guard gave him a single nod. Yo, Logan said to the camera, this has been the wildest day of my life. I may be sticky, bruised, and deeply confused, but I earned something way better than views. He paused. Respect. And from deep in the palace, a lone corgi barked in approval. Logan Paul stood in the royal changing chamber, still dripping marmalade from every visible surface of his body and possibly a few unseen ones. The palace staff had handed him a towel the size of a doormat and a robe that smelled suspiciously like lavender and old money. Behind him, a golden plaque read, "By appointment to Her Majesty's Chaos Containment Chamber." There was a knock at the door. Logan turned. It was Kevin, the intern. He held a silver tray with 2 items. 1. A steaming cup of builder's tea. 2. A contract labeled Her Majesty's Temporary Diplomatic Clown. Sign this, Kevin said, and you become an honorary distraction. You're allowed 1 public nuisance per week. But no juggling near horses. Logan blinked. Is this legally binding? Kevin nodded. It's been notarized by a corgi named Sir Biscuit. I'm in. He signed. The tea splashed slightly when he exhaled. Meanwhile, in the palace command room, a round table of elite palace strategists, nicknamed the Teacup Syndicate, gathered around holographic images of Logan's movements. Subject Paul has destabilized 3 traditions, 2 hallways, and 1 Earl Grey reservoir, growled Sir Winston Blackberry, former MI5 agent turned Royal Protocol enforcer. He made Dame Edna faint, added another. With language. And someone stepped on the commemorative scone from 1897, said a guard in tears. They turned to the grand strategist, a silent figure dressed entirely in tweed and mystery. He simply said, "Release the teapot." Back to Logan. Logan was escorted into the palace gardens for what he was told would be a reconciliation ceremony. What he wasn't told. It was secretly Stage 4, the Teapot Ultimatum. In the center of the garden stood a mechanical teapot, taller than a minivan, steaming ominously. Next to it was a table laid out with mini sandwiches, tiny Union Jack flags, and what looked like a helmet made of porcelain. Logan squinted. Am I about to be tea-boarded? No, said the guard next to him. Wuss. You'll be properly served. With a hiss of hydraulics, the teapot spout extended and pointed at Logan. Steam blasted. Target locked, a robotic voice said. Initiating civil beverage deployment. A torrential jet of scalding tea launched toward him. Logan dodged, somersaulted, grabbed a biscuit tray and used it as a shield. Tourists nearby gasped, filming every second. Someone live-streamed it with the caption, "Logan Paul vs. British Tradition. Fight." The tea barrage continued. Logan leapt behind a stone bench shaped like Prince Charles's profile. Jet, still filming, whispered, "Dude, you're trending globally under #LoganT." "Awesome," Logan said, diving into a rosebush. The mechanical teapot advanced on creaky legs, speaking in passive-aggressive tones. "Would you care for some sugar, Mr. Paul?" It fired sugar cubes like bullets. One bounced off Logan's shoulder and embedded itself in the grass. "That's it," Logan growled. "I'm ending this." The duel of the decaffeinated. Spotting a nearby croquet mallet, Logan grabbed it, sprinted at the teapot, and leapt into the air, yelling, "Freedom!" for no particular reason. He swung. Crack. He hit the spout. The teapot reeled. Steam whistled violently. Kevin, watching from a balcony, muttered, "Oh no." He triggered the British safety protocol. From above, a panel opened. Out descended a parachuting beefeater, holding a Union Jack umbrella and yelling, "For the crown." He landed with a thud, dramatically pointing at Logan. "Sir, you are under arrest for," but was cut off mid-sentence when the teapot malfunctioned and launched a stream of boiling tea right into his boots. The beefeater screamed, dropped his umbrella, and slipped on a crumpet. Logan stood victorious, tea-soaked, marmalade-stained, and very confused. Then the mechanical teapot collapsed, legs folding underneath it like a drunk giraffe. Post-tea debrief. Later that evening, Logan sat in the palace kitchen, sipping cold lemonade and eating what he assumed were crumpets. They were actually decorative soaps. Jet sat beside him, still filming. "So what now?" Jet asked. Logan wiped tea from his ear. "We finish the vlog, fly home, and never eat marmalade again." Suddenly, the Queen's butler appeared. He handed Logan a scroll. "You are hereby invited to attend tomorrow's grand event," he announced. "What event?" "The knighthood ceremony of Cluckles the chicken." Cluckles squawked proudly from Logan's shoulder. "Wait, my rubber chicken's getting knighted?" The butler bowed. "For bravery in the face of breakfast warfare." Kevin peeked in from the side. "Also, you're expected to deliver the toast." Logan raised his eyebrow. "What kind of toast?" "Emotional," the butler replied. "And gluten-free." The next morning, Buckingham Palace shimmered under the soft light of a reluctant London sun. Birds chirped. Tourists gathered. And somewhere within the royal courtyard, a rubber chicken prepared for greatness. Logan Paul stood before a gilded dressing mirror, wearing what could only be described as a ceremonial onesie made entirely of velvet and confusion. His hair had been styled into something resembling royal protocol, or possibly a mop left out in the rain. Cluckles the chicken sat on a velvet pillow, wearing a miniature monocle and what looked like a repurposed tea cozy as a cape. "You're about to make poultry history," Logan whispered. Cluckles squeaked in reply. Or maybe that was his foot. There was a knock. Kevin, the ever-suffering intern, appeared holding a scroll, a box of safety pins, and what appeared to be a scepter made from a toothbrush. "It's time," he said dramatically. "The ceremony begins at dawn. Or in 5 minutes. Whichever comes first." The coronation procession. The palace gates opened with the sound of overoiled bureaucracy. A full brass band emerged, followed by 8 beefeaters, 2 confused tourists who accidentally got in line, and 1 corgi riding a skateboard. Cluckles was placed upon a small float shaped like a Yorkshire pudding and wheeled toward the palace steps. Logan walked beside him, waving regally at a crowd that consisted of tourists, pigeons, and 3 TikTokers who still thought it was a prank. From a balcony, a bugler blew a dramatic tune that sounded suspiciously like "My Heart Will Go On." At the top of the palace steps stood the royal chaplain, Sir Nigel Teabagsworth III, wearing ceremonial robes and AirPods. He raised his hand. "We are gathered today to bestow honor upon one who has clucked in the face of adversity, squeaked in the shadow of danger, and faced flying scones with nothing but rubber dignity. The crowd gasped. Somewhere, a guard sneezed. Sir Nigel continued, "Cluckles, do you swear fealty to the crown, the kingdom, and all gluten-free brunches hereafter?" Cluckles fell over, which, in chicken language, was a yes. Sir Nigel tapped the chicken's head with the toothbrush scepter. "By the power vested in me by centuries of loosely followed tradition, I dub thee Sir Cluckles of Chaos." Applause. Trumpets. A sudden rain of confetti made from shredded parking tickets. The toast that broke a treaty. Logan stepped up for his emotional gluten-free toast. He cleared his throat, holding up a slice of toast so dry it might have been part of the Berlin Wall. "I came to the UK to understand discipline. What I found instead was breakfast betrayal, emotional biscuits, and a chicken more noble than me." He sniffled. "I'd like to thank Cluckles, my therapist, and that one guard who didn't taste me, yet." At that exact moment, the Queen's butler arrived with a letter. He looked shaken. It's from the French." Everyone froze. "Their ambassador," the butler stammered, "says Cluckles has insulted the national dignity of France's official rooster, Jean-Pierre Duplume." Gasps echoed. Sir Nigel dropped his teacup. Logan frowned. "Wait, are we talking about chicken-based international conflict?" The butler nodded grimly. "This is poultry diplomacy of the highest order." The escalation of egg tension. That evening, the palace was placed under Feather Protocol, a rarely invoked wartime contingency plan that involved padding all walls with bubble wrap, removing all cocoa vin from the royal menu, and placing Cluckles under protective custody in the corgi wing. Cluckles, of course, pecked at a bowl of jelly beans like nothing was wrong. Logan paced the hallway. What if France declares war? Kevin shrugged. "We could hide in the Tower of London. I hear it's nice this time of year." Sir Nigel interrupted, holding a scroll with a red wax seal. "There's to be a duel. At dawn. Cluckles versus Jean-Pierre. Rubber versus Rooster. Under the Eiffel Tower. Live streamed." "Wait," Logan said. "This is gonna be a pay-per-view poultry punch-out?" "Essentially." Kevin grinned. "We're gonna break the internet." It was 4:59 a.m. in Paris. The Eiffel Tower loomed like a smug iron sentinel. Below, an impromptu ring had been built out of café tables and a velvet rope from the Moulin Rouge. Tourists gathered in pajamas. French journalists held tiny espressos and existential dread. A mime cried silently. Somewhere, a beret flew off in the wind. This was it, Cluckles versus Jean-Pierre. Rubber versus Rooster. Influencer versus international law. Logan Paul adjusted Cluckles' cape. The chicken squeaked, now wearing aviator goggles and a chest GoPro. "Remember what we trained for," Logan whispered. "Flap. Dodge. Intimidate. Squeak twice if he cheats." Across the ring, Jean-Pierre strutted in with all the arrogance of a French chef at a microwave convention. He wore golden feathers, a miniature sash that read Le Coq Supreme, and somehow a tiny baguette sword. The crowd roared. The referee, a suspiciously tanned French bulldog in a referee shirt, barked once. Right. Round 1. Feathers of Fury. Jean-Pierre charged. Wings flapping. Screeching in French. Cluckles blinked. Then sidestepped. Jean-Pierre tripped over a croissant. The crowd gasped. One pigeon fainted. Logan leapt into the air, yelling, "Let's go!" But Jean-Pierre recovered, flapping back to his feet and performing what looked like a spinning peck-kick hybrid that barely missed Cluckles' tail. Cluckles responded by laying a single rubber egg. It bounced once, twice, then exploded in glitter. The crowd went silent. A child screamed, "Vive le pool!" Round 2. Diplomacy be damned. Back in London, the Queen watched via iPad. She sipped her tea. "This is the finest entertainment since the Great Hedge Maze heist of '89, she murmured. The Prime Minister, standing beside her, looked worried. "Ma'am, if Cluckles loses, we may need to surrender Dover." Meanwhile, in the ring, Cluckles and Jean-Pierre clashed mid-air. Jean-Pierre's baguette sword struck Cluckles' goggles, knocking them off. Cluckles retaliated with a spinning peck that sent feathers flying. "He got him in the giblets," shouted Logan, who had apparently appointed himself as the color commentator. Kevin, filming the whole thing on a selfie stick, added, "We've got 14 million viewers and one guy in Iowa trying to bet with Monopoly money." The turning point. Suddenly, Jean-Pierre faked a limp. Cluckles paused, compassionate. Jean-Pierre launched a surprise attack. Logan screamed, "Foul! French foul!" But Cluckles, rubbery and resilient, dodged last second and countered with a mighty slap of his wing. Jean-Pierre's baguette snapped in half. The crowd gasped. A mime dropped his imaginary wall. The Eiffel Tower twinkled. Time slowed. Cluckles stared Jean-Pierre in the eye. Then, gently, with full dramatic flair, he booped his beak. Jean-Pierre fell backward, dazed, defeated, covered in brie. The referee dog barked twice. Victory. Post-fight chaos. The crowd stormed the ring. French guards saluted Cluckles. Logan threw a beret into the sky and accidentally started a pigeon riot. The Eiffel Tower